back to another episode of Bitcoin and Altcoin Trading Talk. I'm your host Joe with Coinigy, joined by the wonderful Mr. Brian Beamish from TheRationalInvestor.com. How you doing tonight, Brian?
Always better when I get to hear your voice, sir.
Likewise.
We'll make sure that YouTube tabs are muted. And we're ready to rock this thing. So hope that answers your question. But yep, doing good and great to be back in the saddle with you here.
Likewise. Well, anything new on your guys' end? I've been following the chat over there on Discord with the TRI school. You guys been doing pretty well for yourselves in this bull run here.
Yeah, lots and lots of doubles, that's for sure. Doubles, triples, quadruples, quintuples. Actually, I had a lot of fun. We have a stock pickers club. Had a nice stock pickers club meeting last night, and even we're looking at some of the crypto stocks and the crypto ETFs even last night. So, but also had a lot of fun with our futures trading group. One of our gang took a couple G's from the markets this morning. Nice futures trading. Way to go, Ed, Mr. Skidfinger. So anyway, Bitcoin kids. Of course, I don't know whether you watched the daily brief today, but having lots of fun in Solana land. Banged out tons of doubles in there. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been fun to follow along with all of the Solana stuff. We're talking internally, trying to figure out how we can integrate that into Coinigy. So
yeah, it would be probably in your best interests.
definitely.
And you know, you can feel that the enthusiasm for the space is coming back, but at the same time, too, you can also feel that with the 1% is, especially like the bank-owned lobby in governments and stuff. Oh my goodness, they're scrambling desperately to try and put the genie back in the bottle. I don't know whether that's possible or not. And now, interestingly enough, like that side of our society has to deal with guys like Fink, who are basically going all in on Bitcoin and crypto right now. And actually, I don't know whether you got to see our CTO Sjord, his presentation yesterday.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, he comes on Tuesdays. We call it Pennacook Tuesday. And he's one of the smartest people in crypto I've ever met. So it's a real privilege for us to have him on board. But he has like a list of fundamental names. I hope you don't mind. I'll just maybe do a little bit of
Go for it.
shill of the site. But right now, actually, it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, he has, and we're just building these pages out, so they're kind of rough right now. But you know, ironically enough, the lipstick isn't really that much value. What's really of value are the actual names. And Sjord has a list of names that we've put some serious money to work Sjord, I don't know whether you've seen on the site, Sjord's long render from like nothing.
On render for a while.
Yeah, we've been in this thing for a long time. I think yes, there's his average purchase price, 85 cents. So, but anyway, and we're just slowly building out. We did actually a really nice little video summary of LTO and this real world what they call? What's the acronym? RW, Real World Assets, RWA, is that what it is? Anyway, speaking of Mr. Fink, right? He's all excited about this, and I don't know whether you've seen what LTO's done recently, but needless to say, as one of our bags, and actually this is interesting because it's not only in our fundamental bag. So we've got a pretty big position in it over here. But I've also run the little old lady portfolios. And I took a position in this thing for the little old lady portfolio. So little old ladies are banging out doubles on LTO as well. So everybody's having great old fun in the market here right now. I don't know whether you've seen what LTO's done lately, but it's kind of going slightly parabolic here right now.
Yeah.
So. I used to have an old broker buddy of mine who actually owned a big whack of land here in the Lower Mainland, and he fancied himself a farmer when the stock market would go into a bear market, and he'd always spout farming terms. And actually, he was no commodities broker, so I guess that makes sense too. I'd always used to say, "Make hay while the sun's shining, boy." So the sun is shining on this space. I certainly hope you guys are making hay. Do you remember what was the expression that I used in 2023? What were we supposed to be doing in 2023? Do you remember?
Get your act together.
Yeah. And this is why. Because this stuff's going crazy now. I mean, you can see where the W is on this thing. So it's pretty obvious where you're supposed to be long. And now, this is the whole point of what it is that we do. Asset prices go up, and I sure as hell hope you're paying yourself for your hard efforts. I mean, this is the whole point of this game. So anyway, it's good to see. As I said, in our fundamental portfolio, we're loaded up on this. Little old ladies are loaded up on this. A great demonstration of best practices. And of course, I sold half on a double the other day. So I was feeling pretty good about this.
Love to see it. Adam's here. How you doing, Adam?
Yay. Actually, we've got the West Coast connection. So I do, and I missed you on the way back, but basically I do the. Actually, I stayed in Grants Pass. I showed you a piece of land I was looking at in Grants Pass there the other day.
Yeah.
So, but I do like the idea of doing a straight shot from like Vancouver down to Portland, then maybe hanging out with you, doing the ranch thing. And then the next stop is Portland down to Sacramento. Mind you, that's a pretty long haul.
It is,
but yeah. So Adam's our Sacramento. Actually, we've got a bunch. As I told you, that Ed that killed the futures market this morning. He's in Sacramento as well. So actually, we have quite a contingent there in Sacramento.
Love it.
Anyway.
West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast represent and all that kind of stuff, right? How does that go? Yeah, this you got a big house. You're going on and on about that B-Cash. Was that you in the Daily Brief today? I think somebody was saying B Trash was doing well. Let's God, I can't even BCH.
Yep. The USD.
Yeah, I guess over here maybe. I'm not sure what exchange I'm on here, but anyway.
I think you might be on date.
That's not bad. I heard somewhere that Mr. Ver was getting a little bit more active, doing various projects. And I think he has another project under the go right now, but yeah, pretty obvious. Looks like it should be long from about 158 or so. So just like the LTO and really the rest of the market, at the very least, I sure hope you have established risk-free positions and you're just riding the wave now. You can kind of see how this almost looks like Elliott wave. It does feel like maybe we're getting into that parabolic phase move. Then I suppose, just really simple TA 101. We could do extension levels going this direction. Things like fog and bombs and chaos theory. So 2.618 probably should be looking for the better part of $600. I think that makes sense. And my hunch is that's probably like 38.2 up to 50% kind of idea. Let's see. I guess we're doing fog and bombs, and let's do fibs and retracements. And let's flip this around. And yeah, up into these highs. So what is that? What did that say? 685. Is that what that says? And the 2.618 is 595. There's a pretty good window for you to shoot for. That kind of makes sense. Suppose if you're really lucky, you get a nice big blast off up top here. I think you're probably going to run into a pretty big brick wall of resistance up here around $1,000, and that would make sense too. Psychological, big fat round numbers. So anyway, I mean, we are in the bull phase here. I'm a little concerned that maybe we're going a little too far too fast. And I suppose if we look at this from a logarithmic scale, I mean, you can see where the bottom is. I don't think anybody will debate that. So here we are. We're now, what, 3x, 4x off of the lows? So be careful. I don't know whether it makes sense to go in and buy that there. It's a little bit late. Anyway, from what I understand, we got a whole bunch of names to look at here tonight, eh?
We do. Let's kick it off with Zen.
Oh, I do like that. I've got a bunch of that in the in my fun little portfolio. Where is Zen? I think
I see it's
Zen. There it is. Yeah, and this was one of my favorites from 2 cycles ago. Made some great money on this thing.
Yeah. So let's go Zen USD. Let's see Binance.
Binance. You know, you heard the whole KuCoin news, eh? So you wonder whether these Asian exchanges, their days are numbered.
Yeah.
Anyway, hope you didn't lose any money on KuCoin. I don't know whether they're still. Ooh, yeah. Geez, what a pretty chart, eh? So the cool part about this one is, and I don't know whether this is going to show it or not, but let's see. Do I have that written down somewhere?
Weekly W's and W's and W's.
Yeah, W's within W's. I thought I had. I don't know what to do with my spreadsheets. Well, I guess we'll look at that later. Anyway, I am long this. It's no big deal. And the good part about it is when you get these W's, then you can start doing things like fog and bombs to try and get an idea of where these things are going to go to the upside. And then while we've got the study on here, let's throw on the good old fog and bombs. So this is a log scale, so we better make sure this is drawn for log. Twink. It would make sense. You know, we're coming up into some resistance here. We got that key point right there. My hunch is 2.618. It's probably right up in this area too. Boom, 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 and then boom, boom, boom. All right. So, yeah, I don't think that's too outlandish. So 4669, is that what that says? I think that's what that says.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, $20 psychological level as well. It's not a bad objective. I would say that this thing is trending higher when we start getting market structure above this line. So this is going to be stuck in a trading range for a while. Suppose we could probably also, off of this bigger one, do a fog and bomb off of there. That's interesting how 877 would take us.
Yeah.
Actually, I do like that 4669. Nice target, and actually, yeah, maybe the middle of the summer. Like what usually happens in this space is, you know, we're coming up to 420. I don't know how many years. You've been in this space a while, so you probably remember how 420 is.
Yeah.
But what I usually find is after the Easter holiday, and I don't know whether it's little baby Jesus doesn't like us crypto kids or something, but
Huh? Buy when it snows, sell when it goes.
Well, I don't know what it is about Easter though. For some reason, following the Easter break, usually there's a bit of a pause, and of course, you know, we've got this big fundamental event coming up in crypto soon.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be dominating the conversation for a while. Probably, you know, just simple trend lines. Actually, it's interesting how steep that is. If we lose that one, I bet we're probably going to have to come back down to that one. And then we'll do simple things like reload zones heading back down against the lows. And what you should probably see here is if this is going to trend continuation, then we'll do like a bot setup. If, however, it's got to do like a full retrace, then we'll do like a value reload zone setup kind of idea. So there's 38.2. So we've already done that. Maybe let's change this back to regular so you can see the chart. All right. So reload zone 78.6. This is my favorite fib. So I'm happy to just go and throw my stink bid in down here. And I do kind of like this, where I think this would be like sort of your value window right in here. So if you can sneak your way in into this green triangle, that's probably like value. Coming in on the buy side up top here is a little bit expensive. And then if we go down to like a daily, see what traders are seeing. How are we going to work our way back down? I'm seeing this a lot in the crypto space right now. Impossible to say whether this actually plays out or not, but I am seeing this sort of, we had a knee-jerk reaction, one directional move, boom. And usually the market doesn't ever move in just one step. Usually it's like a zigzag pattern. So what that means is that this is like half of the move. So then the market has to recharge, find new buyers, sort of rebalance, unstretch the rubber band, and then get ready for the second wave.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that second move takes us back down to like trendline support, reload zones, all that kind of talk. And actually, can I show you some what I'm sort of thinking I'm expecting in Bitcoin?
Yeah.
So if we keep this kind of thought in our mind, of course, I'm not quite sure if this is going to load or not. Let's see what happens. BTC, USD. And let's maybe I'll just do good old stamp. That's what I always do with you guys. This chart might be all marked up though. Okay. All right. So you can see we've been drawing stuff on here. Yeah, it's been a while since we looked at this chart. I like the idea. Let's see, weekly. That yeah, I remember we talked about this last go round. So we did sort of compare. Was this current price action like last happening? And actually, I don't think the price action has gone that way.
No, you're saying more like the 2017.
I think it was like 2016 down in
2016,
here. Yeah. So there's a halving event here. Can you believe? So this was the halving event, and I think the price is actually going to follow along this kind of path. I don't know how I can do this. Let's just see if I go like this and then go back to daily. Can I quickly get back
July
there?
9th of 2016.
Yeah. It's going to take a second. Oh, fudge. I don't want to do that. Come on. Over you go. Over you go. This might take a while to get back there. Just give me a second.
Oh, for the single day.
Yeah, because I just wanted to map out the price action. Just so, I mean, everybody on the site, TRI, knows what I'm thinking here. This might, though, gobble up. We don't have a lot of time, so. Yeah, maybe this was unproductive. Forget it. Anyway, just going back to that image really quickly. This is going to take too long. Just working off of this weekly chart. Right here. Remember I said that zigzag pattern? I think that you're going to get a pattern That's like that A, B, C, D on that Zen that we just saw.
Yeah.
I think the whole market's going to do this. So hopefully you can see it here. This is basically exactly like that Zen. And if I could show you on the daily, you'd see it. But anyway, you see how we went A to B. Boom, boom. And then clone that. And C, rally peak, C to D. Actually, it
Okay.
looks like the rally peak was like right to there. So boom, 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 boom. That's the same thing as boom, 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 boom. I think the whole market could very easily do this. Boom, 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 boom. And actually, so keep that in mind. Boom, 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 boom. And then if we look at what Litecoin just did through its happening, and I have a feeling they're on kind of the same sort of schedule. Litecoin should look a lot like it's happening in 2015-16 look like, and it does. I don't know what I've done here. There we go. And just keep this
actually next on the list for us to discuss.
Okay, well, okay, so we're gonna do it at the same time then. So you can see, obviously, you can see what I've been suggesting people do here. And if anything, what a great analogy, right? So do you see why you have to sell halves on doubles and stuff? So I guess we talked about coming in on the buy side around here somewhere. Sell half on a double, and look how it came almost all the way right back down to the bottom again. So if you fancy yourself a trader and you want to make money from trading and you're position trading, right? You want to buy low, let some go on the rally, sell half on a doubles, nice, easy, sort of don't overthink this stuff. Then when it pulls back down, kisses Brian's favorite fib, get in there and buy it back, and back up we go. But I guess what I was trying to illustrate to you is, can you see, this is a weekly chart. Actually, let's go back to the daily. Maybe we see that a little bit better. So if we go daily, hopefully, kind of like what you saw in that Zen, we'll flip back to that in a second. So A to B, and then clone this. And C to D. This one went quite a bit further. I don't know, is that? Yeah, that's regular scale. So this one actually surprised me a bit because, like the Bitcoin one, it did do a 50% retracement in 2015-16. This one, it went well beyond 50%, went all the way down to 78.6. So if anything, this is a great illustration that, don't assume that Bitcoin is indefinitely up here and that it can't knock its way all the way right back down to reload zones. If we looked at that 15-16 cycle, like I said, and I don't know, do you mind if I show a mock-up of a chart that I have on TradingView already done?
No, go for it.
All right.
Drawn out.
So, it was, that's all future stuff. Is it this one? All right, so this is the chart this is the price action from 15-16. So A to B, C to D, all the way down here.
Yes.
So that's what that kind of looked like. And, kind of like we saw that Zen. And hopefully, just keep that image in mind. A to B, C to D. Is that what Litecoin did here? A to B, C to D. Yeah. So I get the feeling that this is what's going to happen here. Which, of course, is incredibly unpopular. And you actually have a lot of people right now in social media going out and saying, buy Bitcoins. And some people are actually like almost making it like a religious event. Like, please do yourself a favor and buy Bitcoins in here. And it's like, oh, come on. It's stunningly cliche how this is. So anyway, you can kind of see that pattern right across the crypto market. I see this a lot. That we're carving out these AB equals CDs. And it's interesting how this one would bring us back into a reload zone here.
Sure.
And I mean, just so you see, so hopefully we killed a couple birds with a couple stones here. You know, we talked about the Zen, and frankly speaking, if I get this pull back into this zone here, I so want to be on the buy side. I would love to have nothing more. I mean, I don't know whether you saw, but I made reference to it earlier. Like the U.S. Justice Department is basically going to try and sue KuCoin into the ground.
I saw that.
So, would that really affect in the long run whatever Zen is doing? Probably not. You know, they're their own blockchain. They have their own story. They're doing their own thing. But with that kind of negativism, I don't know what the word would be. But with that kind of FUD, right, for lack of a better term,
Put the price down.
would that maybe encourage people to maybe back away from being so like circle jerky orgy and stuff about all this stuff, you know?
Definitely.
So would that maybe precipitate a nice pullback into buying Windows? And if that does happen, folks, you know, total. Well, you saw I'm already long a bit. I want to be long more. And if anything, hopefully I'm selling halves on doubles and all that kind of fun stuff. But this past cycle, and actually I got an official assistant now for the little old lady portfolio. So hopefully he's going to help me get this damn thing cleaned up and heading in back in a good direction. Because I'll tell you, trading off of this DeFi is difficult at best. Oh boy.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah. So, hit Zen. Ironically enough, I'd actually make the argument that I think Litecoin, you know, this is higher time frame reload zone. So whoever asked, if we're in these like big, like yearly reload zone areas, I think, you know, like you're familiar with like the little old lady portfolio and that kind of approach, risk management.
Yep.
Look how this thing bottomed so politely off of that 78.6. It's remarkable. Actually, this is 88.6, even crazier. Look at that, eh? So, I guess maybe we call this the venture cap reload zone. Really pretty little W right down in here. Might even argue that this would be sort of normal reload zone kind of conversation. So, wow, what a buy signal right there. Anywhere down in here, I would have no problem with you accumulating.
I'm long. I was just looking. I'm long from 68.
Perfect. Well, looks like I did my job with you.
68.46.
Oh, well, fuck it. No, that sucks. That's terrible. So, excellent. Well done. Sounds like you have been listening to me, so that's good.
Yes, sir.
And she's pointing back up, right? If anything, you should be long. Way to go, you are, and you should be able to tell me exactly where your sell orders are. So anywhere up around here, 130, 140 area to let some go, just so you can get that risk-free trade. There's nothing wrong with that thinking whatsoever. Now, if this thing does get its act together, it should be interesting to do some foggy buggies off of these levels. Get an idea where it wants to go. So just this W here. Actually, you know what? Before we get rid of that, let's throw on the big levels. So that we don't have to adjust this twice. And actually, this would be interesting because it does look to me like we're coming up to long-term trendline resistance here, right? So somewhere up in that area, there against there. I don't know whether that's the highest high in there or not. Did it go all the way up there? So that's great to see that we're now completely on the other side of this trend line, ready to go. So what I was suggesting was, we try and figure out where, I don't know where the top is. Maybe that's the top there. Right there. Something like that. We can zoom in on that. So 38.2 is, gee whiz, that's $200. This would be like kind of what that Bcash is doing. But thinking Fog bombs. Let's see if we can get some sort of alignment here. What's the word I'm looking for? Confluence, dry and secure. Do you remember that? I know the word wasn't confluence, it was confidence. That was a deodorant commercial from the 1980s.
Yeah, I did not remember
that. How can you tell I was a latchkey kid? Yeah. Okay, so let's go. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, it's so mind-blowing. It's right off the screen. It's always a good time. Let's maybe do these in some bright color we can see. All right. Ah, there you go. $112.58 is what this Bomb is suggesting as a near-term objective. And that would make sense, right? Because, where are these guys sleeping that bought up here?
Right on the couch.
Right. So they're going to want to desperately get off the couch. So they're going to come in on this sell side at this level. And then also horizontal support and resistance. This is like Technical Analysis 101 in our level 2 program. So actually Technical Analysis 202. But anyway, there is your horizontal support and resistance. That should be a pretty big barrier. And let's see, 466. Oh, interesting. Look how 877s line up. I think that's 50% right there, isn't it? What's that number? Is that 50%? I can't even see. Yep, 50%. So interesting how that's some interesting confluence there. Also, too, this looks like a midpoint, this 38.2 between these 2 points. That's probably an interesting level to pay attention to. But if we can clear through this high and this 2.618, then we can really start looking at some crazy levels. I don't know where the lowest low is in here, but anyway, it's going to be down here somewhere. Let's go there to there. And yeah, interesting. 2.618 up into that 38.2 area. And 4669. Ooh, nice. I always love to see that kind of confluence up in 786. So, like sort of hopscotching, how does this thing move forward? It probably does something along these lines, going forward. Then we find out whether it's really for real. And then into, I can find it really bizarre is that Charlie Lee's just sort of disappeared. I don't know whatever happened to him. But, and actually we did a really fun exercise with Bitcoin. You want, I don't think, have I ever done time fibs with you?
No, I don't believe so.
Do we want to take 10 minutes and do this? It's kind of a fun experiment. Don't want to blow up the system. I mean, we have so many names to look at. I don't know, do you want to do this? It's kind of like learning material for tonight.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, and actually, we've got one guy. His nickname is Neck of a Pencil on the site, and he was doing this study with us years ago. And the other day, he saw me do this publicly, and he's like, "Why are you giving away all our secrets?" So, whether it be chaos theory and pissing off guys like the guy who founded Interactive Brokers, he wouldn't talk publicly about chaos theory, but I'll go and spill the beans. Or whether it be about like time-based fib studies. This will blow your mind. This is actually a lot of fun. I don't know whether I've done this with you. We should probably do this as a video. But have you guys ever put those tutorials up on your site yet?
Yes. I mean, just like we've got them on in our learning resources, but our developers are building out where I'll be able to put together the web pages for what you do, Coinigy University.
Mm,
With
there you
all of
go.
our stuff on there. So hopefully that'll come soon.
All right. This was the last happening right there, BTC happening event.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether we have it marked on here or not. Actually, I keep going back to this.
Previous dates were November 28th, 2012, July 9th, 2016, and May 11th, 2020.
All right. Yeah, there they are. What's the date in 2012?
November 28th.
Oh, good. Okay. So if we go November right there, roughly November 26th. And then what did we say? April 2016?
Then July 9th, 2016.
July 9th. That's roughly right in there. Eh? Okay, we'll go there. Okay, so we'll go into our when we've got 3 events here. So, and then of course we've got a 4th one coming up. So this should be enough just for illustration purposes. So, boom, 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 boom. Right? Your 4 happening events. So we're going to go in here. We're going to select the fib. I think it says fib time zone. I think that's right. And we're going to start at 1 happening event. But what we're going to do is we're going to say from 1 happening event to another is 0 to 1. But then following that, we want to do a fib study. So what's the big initial fib number that we like to think about?
2.618.
That's chaos theory. Fib retracement, maybe. First stop target.
First stop 38.2.
All right, so we'll do 1.382. Okay. So what this is saying is what's 38.2 of this previous range? Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then we like, what's another big fib number we like?
50% retracement?
No, that is not a Fibonacci number.
61.8.
All right, so we'll go 1.618. And then what's Brian's favorite fib?
78.6.
So we'll go 1.786.
1.7. Yeah.
So the rest of these, for the purpose of this study, we won't worry about too much. Okay, so we're going to concentrate on 38.2, 61.8, 78.6 of this is like, think of this as an extension study. And we're measuring time here. So we're going to take 1 point and we're going to go off of one of the happening events, right? Then we're going to take the next point and we're going to drag it right over the next happening event. And watch where 38.2, in fact, you know what, before we even do that, let's color 38.2 and just watch where 38.2 just so happens to line up. Survey says, doink. You see that?
Well, I'll be damned.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
And then what I find really cool is you're like, I mean, obviously all the kids, they want to know when price is going to peak, right? But I, as an institutional investor, I want to know when I'm supposed to buy. So this is where what I find super insanely cool is look how 1.618 to 1.786, we'll call those the green boxes. Look how they line up, the absolute perfect little buying bottom window right in there. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
So you say, that's just some stupid parlor trick, Brian. You're just bullshitting us. Okay, let's do it the next cycle. Let's see what happens. I mean, this is crazy how this works. So we won't even move these. All we'll do is we'll just clone this study. And I don't want to give away the secret sauce right away, but you can pretty much figure out what's going to happen here. So we'll go off of the next halvening event. That'll be our 0 point. And our 1 point, we will drag it to the next halvening event. And watch where 38.2 comes in. Doink. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And look where 1.618 is to 1.786, basically the bottoming window. Isn't that incredible?
That is wild.
I mean, basically, we're pretty. Why do we even need to bother doing any of this? We got this all figured out.
Yeah.
So, obviously, that beggars the question, when the hell's the next cycle peak coming in here?
Yeah.
So, the irony of it all, and of course, we've already been through, unfortunately, the buying window, right? There's our buying window, and here we are over here now.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happens if we take halvening event to the next halvening event? When should this cycle peak? And just out of curiosity, have you been keeping note? When have I been predicting all along that this cycle should peak?
End of 2025.
Yeah, so we're going to go halvening event to halvening event, boom to boom, cycle peak. Hello, October 25.
Ryan, you just broke my brain.
And then our next buying window, have we said that the shit's going to hit the fan in 2027, 2028? I don't know whether you've ever, and if you think about the 4-year cycle troughs, 19, this was the time to buy, 23 is the time to buy. So the next really big buying window is going to be right in the middle of the absolute worst economic disaster, I think, probably of our entire generation is coming up here. So point of the matter here is we got to make all the money we possibly can into this yellow line. Once we get to this yellow line, we better cash out and go buy our islands and then just go bury our head in the sand on some tropical island for a few years. Isn't that incredible? And hey, I even drove down, yeah, that's right, Adam, 47, 87. Wouldn't be surprised if 2027 is pretty nasty. But this is a great example where when they're crying, what should you be doing?
You should be buying.
So do you see, when SBF was being arrested for the biggest fraud of our generation, blah, 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 all that nonsense. When the space was crying like crazy, Do Kwon destroyed everybody, what should you have been doing as a smart investor?
Buying.
Yeah. And I mean, this is why I say, and I even started the broadcast with you and said, what should we have been doing there in 23? And I hope you see the direct visual evidence of this. I mean, this is everything that I'm trying to teach you guys.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
Incredible.
All right, so back to our story. We did Zen, willing to buy it at about 8, let's call it 8 to 10, somewhere in that neighborhood, anywhere between $8 and $10, ideally around 8.25. Litecoin, I actually think it's buyable right now. It might have gone maybe a little bit too far here in the short term, but can you see how this was actually pretty much an absolute perfect Wyckoff check? Do you remember ever talking to me about Wyckoff?
I do.
So if we go reload zones, 78.6, 61.8, we can throw on that 88.6 just for fun. All right, so what a big surprise. Oh, yeah, we already did this. So you can see there is the reload zone. And actually, you got a little dip that just came into, actually, it didn't even get into Mountain Man. These numbers are kind of hard to see here. But hopefully you can see what I'm talking about here. I'd be happy to be a buyer of Litecoin if we can get it. Notice, look at this dip down into this low here, and that was just bought up. Like there must have been a ton of buy orders. right down against these original W's right there. It stabbed down into there and then just shot straight back up, eh? So, and interesting too, if we think, Zen and Bitcoin and what I think the whole damn space, A to B, C to D. Oh, what a surprise. Can you see that? And it's kind of terrible colors. But can you see how that A, B, C, D takes us right down into Brian's favorite fib here?
Yes, sir.
And wicks and tails like to be eaten. And of course, here's Adam sitting down here with his shark setup, all ready and willing to buy down here against this original market structure bottom and good old 78.6s.
Way to go, Adam.
Tell you, Adam's a role model. They'll have the whole damn state of Sacramento. State of no. City of Sacramento? I don't know what they call it.
Adam will
Anyway.
make it a state.
Huh?
Adam will make it a state.
There you go. The state of Adam. Anyway, so the point here is, just like the Zen, in fact, and actually I even said that I was going to share the charts. I think probably the best thing for me to do is just I'll PM you them on the Discord. And then maybe you can just, I don't know. After the show, I suppose we could probably just cut and paste and link them to the the tweet feed or whatever. But anyway, there's Litecoin. More than happy to be a buyer. If this thing does come back down to, what is that, $67 down in there? Right in there, I think that's what that says.
Mm-hmm.
More than happy to be a buyer there. And then on the Zen, more than happy to be a buyer. What does that say? 8.5?
8.5.
Somewhere in that area. So hopefully those charts are somewhat agreeable. What do you think? Is that of any value?
It is.
Okay. Shall we move on to the next one? And do you want me to take a screenshot of this?
Zoom out. I think that's super interesting. If we can get the.
We should go. Yellow is peak. Green is buying window. Right. We'll say blue is happening. Yellow is cycle peak. Green is investing window. Maybe we'll just do it something like that, and we'll call this fib time studies Bitcoin. Maybe we'll say happenings, although nobody likes when I say the word happening. It's funny how over the years there was a debate, and then all of a sudden a few years ago somebody officially said, "Oh, you are not allowed to call it a happening anymore." And I go, "Screw you, man. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my father."
You can, Brian.
Huh?
I say you can.
Okay. Anyway, so there's some fun chart porn there for you.
Beautiful.
There you go. That's kind of a cool study, though, eh? Jeez.
Very cool. Constantine said, "I've never seen this before, but it's amazing."
Copy link to church. All right. There you go. You've got that one as well.
Beautiful.
That's actually that probably would be a really good one for sort of the front page of this video here today.
Yeah.
Nice advertising piece. Okay.
Next one is JTO.
JTO. What versus USD?
Go to Binance. It had the most 24-hour volume by a landslide.
All right. Do 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 do.
Don't
Really?
chase.
Hmm?
Don't chase.
Yeah. And actually, you know, what's kind of weird is like you can kind of just draw like a really simple fib study here and just say what is 50% of the range. And this is a really easy way to keep you honest. So you can see we are in like just break this in half and just ask yourself, are we trading in the upper half of this trading range? Or are we trading in the lower half of this trading range?
Upper.
Yeah. So from a buyer's perspective, this is like the glass is half full.
Yeah.
And then this down here is the glass is half empty. But that's probably something totally different. You know, we can do just a really simple trend line. There is your basic trend. So if anything, it's kind of interesting that we have this sort of real sort of apex of energy right in here, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I suppose, and then with this funny little candle here, ironically enough, this kind of messes with this. I'd probably even just say, you know, we could probably just go off of that, just keep it simple. And then let's go over here. Let's go boom, 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 boom. All right, so 2.618 is basically a test of the old highs. I guess that makes sense. I still like this little one, although this tail right here is a bit of an anomaly. I mean, maybe you have to go off of that whole range there. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, that is what you have to do. Look at that. So that 2.618 was totally what stopped that right there. Also, too, you ever heard me say candle body highs for trade location? Right, so you can see like, wow, what a cool level to short right in there. These guys sleeping on the couch. As soon as we started getting into that area, they were like, "Get me the fuck out of here!" Right? So, yeah. Pretty cliche. Is this thing actually rolled over? Momentum. Yeah, you can kind of feel it's like a rolling top here, eh? Especially Willie. Really, you know, great reason why I use that Willie indicator. You can really see how it got like. Did we actually get stupid here at one point? Look at that, minus 20.56, so pretty close. The yellow line was well above minus 20. We almost got stupid, but I would say with all these M's, and unfortunately this high here came in on this bar here, and then this high here came in on these higher highs, so that is technically divergent. Nasty failure on MACD. Huge failure here. So unfortunately, this does look to me like if you are a bull, at the very least, you as soon as you see this event here, you kind of have to go, all right, I know I'm bullish. I love the story. I'm in love with the developers. Oh, you know, they're so awesome. The technology's great. There's going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. But until this bearish divergence is resolved, i.e., a new bullish divergence or even a big fat W in MACD comes in and breaks this pattern, until that happens, you just got to cool your jets. So,
of a frozen jet.
Yeah, exactly. And in a weird sort of way, you know, you can kind of see this is a daily chart. Probably if we go down to like a 4 hour, you probably see there's a big fat M right up here off of this level here. So we said that blue line was the better cool your jets. And notice the breakdown of the middle of that M came in there. So there was lots of reasons for you to go, you know what, maybe I just better temper my enthusiasm. So, let's see. And that was a pretty big move. I mean, can you see the W down in here? So that was the original bottom, and that was at like $1.80 or something. So we worked our way all the way up to the better part of $4. I mean, do you think it's an accident? We double bottomed, and we also did a really nice reload zone. Can you see how this is a perfect reload zone?
Yeah.
Pullback here. I'm not quite sure what's going on here.
Yeah.
But I think that you were supposed to be like this was the level you were supposed to be long from. So you know, if you were long from around $1.80, I mean, it's no accident that this thing went zipping up top here, and like we said, old trap bulls, they want to get the hell out. 2.6. Oh yeah, okay. So there is that 4-hour chart now.
Oh yeah, it's smiling.
Yeah, and in pretty clear fashion here. And if you have never heard this expression before, it's it's not something that Wall Street's ever gonna say because they never want to make it this simple. Because hey, you got to justify these six-figure salaries for all these analysts and stuff, and I suppose probably seven figures nowadays. All right, I don't know why this is not clicking off here. Anyway, sometimes when you click on this, you can remove the magnet. If I draw something here, it's probably, oh, there we go. Okay, good. So, what we have, the old expression is, oops, what the hell happened there? Yeah, you can see the magnet still on. Anyway, there is the smile.
When it starts smiling at you, it wants to take your money.
Yeah, so you can see that that's sort of your failure in there, and that was our day when the MACD officially rolled over. So, unfortunately, until this thing actually starts, I mean, there was a cute little W right in here off of that level. Also, too, notice it was off of those levels there. So, the lower time frame guys, maybe they're having a bit of fun with this. But the position people, as we said, you probably should have been long from about $1.80 or so. So if this thing wants to load up here, we should see that. That's a shame. I don't know whether this is my computer. That's an issue here. Oh, super slow. That's too bad. Maybe I'll put these away. Make any difference? I don't really want to put this away. It's such a cool chart.
It really is.
Big
house. Doge 8-hour hourly chart looks kind of like Bitcoin Cash before it broke out. Keep an eye on Doge. We'll get to that one. Big house. That's another one that we had some requests from the audience, so we'll be sure to look into that one as well.
What color is that? Is that red? Can't I think that is red. So anyway, I guess we'll look at that. Let's try a new one. Do 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 Binance, right?
Binance.
That's weekly. Daily. Squigglies. There we go. So, as I said there earlier, I do like the idea of being long off of this level right down here. And, hindsight's 2020. It'll drive you crazy. If you miss this opportunity in that 23, and actually this is 24. So
yeah,
this is just a few months ago.
Yeah, I think the coin just launched in early December 2023.
Right. So we're getting our big sort of cool your jets message. Looks like the Willie told us, be careful. Where if I was gonna buy this, where would I want to be a buyer? good old reload zones. What do you think the odds are Adam's going to be
Around there.
sitting down there at 78.6?
Pretty dang high, I'd say, Brian.
Where is he?
Yeah, it's gonna be right on.
I know you're
Third
around
one
here
from on the
somewhere.
right, third one down.
Oh, there you go. You know the side there. 787. Oh yeah, look at that. Right on the nose. Jesus. So yeah, and actually look at that tail. So you know there's a whole bunch of people that sold here. Yeah, this thing's going to zero. It sucks, right? And they might even be short in these tails, and any kind of dip down into there, that should be bought up. So you know where would I? And also too, what harmonic am I thinking here?
A to B, C to D.
Yeah. So boom, boom. Boom, boom. Oh, look how that'll take us right down into those levels. And you can even see this one's even got a 3-bar fractal that's trying to form here. So if we go through this low here, this actually becomes a short-term sell signal. And that's 290, what number was that? 295.28. So if you see it through that, then that means that, wait, do you remember this 3-bar pattern? All you Americans would love this pattern. That 3-bar pattern, do you remember what that was called?
The fractals?
This one, boom, boom, boom.
It's called the Empire.
Yeah. So you can see it kind of looks like
Empire
the
candlestick. 3-bar reversal.
Yeah. So if we go through that low, that becomes a pretty big sell signal.
No, if you see a fractal on the price chart, you should probably pay attention.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. And then remember we had that big M, right? So you can actually do a Foggenbaum off of that M. So there to there, and then just out of curiosity, where does that take us? So 2.618. Oh, interesting. Right back down. There's Adam sitting there at 786. And 2.618 says we have to stab all the way down into here. So, you know, just answering the ever-age question, where would Brian be willing to be a buyer? I'm happy to be a buyer down here at about $1.88, which is ironic because it's basically just the original breakout level. Because, you know, in a weird sort of way, technical analysis is nothing more. All right, let's quiz you here, and let's see if anybody else on the channel knows. What is technical analysis? What does it do? It's a visual representation of what? The visual representation of supply and demand. So, wherever you see a W, what that means is demand overwhelms supply. And whenever you see an M, it means supply overwhelmed demand. You know, look at this M up here. Up, down, up. Supply overwhelms demand. And which way does price go? And notice, where did price have to come back down to? It had to come back down to the last place where demand overwhelms supply. And that's just a function of price. So when you see a breakdown like this, and you look left back into the original bottom, and you're seeing Adam sitting there at 78.6 off original market structure, really all that's saying is that there's a lack of demand up here, and the market itself is pointing towards, well, it wants to go back to where demand is. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Pretty straightforward. So, oh, actually, that was the same chart. So here, let's get rid of that. And let's go like that, and let's go like that, and we can just officially say I am more than happy to be a buyer anywhere, let's say between about $1.80 and $2 on this JTO.
Awesome.
All right, next up on the hit list.
Let's jump into what Big House is saying for. Let's go Doge.
Dog money.
Yes, sir.
Dog money, dog money, dog money.
USDT on Poloniex. I was looking at it.
On Polo.
Yeah, we have the most data going back on that on Poloniex.
Polo. USDT Doge. There it is. This is versus Tether. That's surprising that, because if you really want to see a lot of data, Tether hasn't been around that long. Probably be better to look at it versus Bitcoin. But anyway. All right. I'll give the system a minute to catch up here. Hey, there we go. Whoa, broke out to new highs. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Obviously, am I going to endorse buying this asset up here?
No.
He said very tentatively.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I knew you weren't gonna.
Hopefully you can see where you probably should be long from, right?
Elon's gonna be back on SNL.
Oh, is he really?
No, it's just.
Well, that would be your sign that this thing's topping. But anyway, so you can see where you should be long. Be interesting. It doesn't look like they took this low out. So that actually is a pretty legit bottom. And if that's the case, then we could probably do some pretty solid fog and bombs off of that. So that's there to there. It's actually, this is an interesting sign when you see the market just blow right through 2.618. Then it means it wants to go to 4669 and in a hurry. So let's see what happens. Where's 4669? Survey says, boom, right into there. Yep, boink.
And there's the resistance.
So interesting too. Notice when we went up into 4669, look where we came right back to. Right back to that 2.618 and then stop the selling. Then back up, then back down. To me, this actually infers that this is now a range that we can do this off of. Which is scary because, I think Alan has made it known that he wants to use like this coupled with the Twitter platform to fucking take over the world's financial system. So interesting. Look how 2.618 there lines up almost perfectly with that 877.
Yeah.
You think that's an accident? I don't. So if you're looking, keep in mind also too, I'm long from about 8 or so. Did let half of it go here in the 16 area. So I'm sitting on a free position anyway. Interesting how we have this big honkin' W here, which means we could probably do a fog and bomb off of this range as well. Sure looks like there's a lot of reasons to look for this thing to go higher. Higher, daddy, higher, higher. What show's that from?
I'm not sure. I don't watch much TV, Brian.
That was Simpsons. Anyway. So, if we go off of this big honkin', that's almost like a monthly W, eh? This is like Sedona Euphoria kind of conversation.
Yeah.
So,
it's funny, though, that from that other one, that 877 is lining up pretty close to.
Yeah, look how that's basically a test of the old highs there, eh? So these levels look pretty solid. I'd say interesting too. That 877, that 2.618 line up. That lines up with this 2.618, and that lines up with all these old highs. So, these guys, they're sleeping on the couch, right? The people that bought in here. So that means that if they do spike it up into this 30-cent area, all these motivated sellers will come out. Chaos will come back into the marketplace. Right now, it's one directional, right? There's no chaos. It's very fluid. It's very straightforward. But once we get up into this guy, and this guy, and really all these numbers are doing is just validating in my eyes that you're going to see a whole bunch of trap bulls that want to desperately get off the damn couch and get back into sleeping with the honey and all that kind of fun stuff. All the good parts that go about with that, right? We know. They want to get the fuck off the couch and out of the doghouse. Quit sleeping with Macosta and let's get back and busy, right?
Abigail's in the doghouse on this trade. She's way up on the top end of that.
Yeah, she is, eh?
Back down. Don't do it. And then she listened to one of our other friends who's probably also sleeping on the couch. She's way up there. She's
Uh,
waiting to get her money back. So
there you go. And I suppose, everything being equal in this, this insane world that we live in, I suppose there's plenty of women sleeping on couches now too, right? So I think you can clearly see where there's going to be like a brick wall of resistance right up here.
yeah.
So, and the interesting thing is that's about 50% higher than where we are right now. Uh, so I suppose it isn't bad, but the thing is Brian ever going to endorse you coming in and chasing a name like this? No, I just won't.
Never.
And I would have liked to actually set up sort of like a comfortable long here that I would have a lot of confidence in. Notice, look how long this consolidation is in here, right? Where we went down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up, right? And all that. This, at least then I can look at it and say, look, I've got a whole bunch of lows to work with. If I buy the breakout, I'll let all of these people defend my trade. I got a pretty good idea. I can actually measure the amount of risk that I have to take on this trade. The problem with coming in here now is if you do buy here, where do you have to risk to? Where's even just the last time when the bulls, stood up and said, "Thou shalt not go any lower"? Well, that's this low.
Yeah.
And that low. And I have to come in and buy up here. Oh goodness! So that means I have to risk all the way down to like basically that level there on a trade. So unfortunately, what that means when I look at a chart like this is I don't think that this actually ever did top. So if I wanted to buy originally, right, I would have drawn my reload zones. And, at the very least, think about things like bot continuation trade. But I don't even think we were at that stage yet, with this thing. This thing's still in its primary up move. So, the bot says we need to see at least 33, but no more than 66. We got that, so we got one low. Then we got two lows. But then we just went screaming straight up here. So I don't think that this thing is actually based. And what that means to me, unfortunately, is what I have to do is I just have to draw my study now that looks like that. And so, still in that, got to see at least a 33, but no more than a 66. And I want to see one low, two lows, three lows, and then that sets up the trend continuation trade. This thing to me looks like it's still in its primary up move here. So as a result, I can't really even justify doing anything. Like I said, I'm long from down here. So I spoon-fed a bunch at like 16, 17. And my next spoon feed level will be up here, I guess, interestingly enough, just north of that 2.618. That'll be my next sell level up in that 32 area. And it might just do that. Having said that, no way I can come in on the buy side. And I can't even really think about the buy side, at least with those other names. We had distribution going on, lower highs and lower lows. This guy was in the process of doing that. And frankly speaking, when you look at a chart like this, this is actually very deceptive. Because if I change this, it looks like it's making higher lows and higher highs. But if I change this to a line chart, all of a sudden, hey, whoa, what the hell? That's what the image looks like? So you can actually see there was actually a cute little double top short signal right up here, right? And the market puked out. And it actually looks like there's a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders right here. Which, interestingly enough, this inverted head and shoulders, that's a measured move. Which means that we should be able to go like neckline and then just simply draw from the neckline down to the bottom of the head and then clone that and then project that off of the neckline. And this should be your bullish objective of this move. So as I said there a few minutes ago, I can't even think about this thing setting up a new bullish pattern. I think it's still operating whatever this original move was. And I'd hate to say it, but just on a clothesline basis, I'd be like, well, where are we thinking? Kind of the exact opposite of that horizon and all that kind of stuff. I would be thinking A to B, C to D. So I would be thinking, is there some reason why we should maybe think about some sort of top up here at 20, what is that, 23 cents there? And I don't see anything just jumping out at me. But I think the comment that I made to you about how if I did want to buy, I mean, you can see the bottom in here. I think it's pretty obvious. I can't come in on the buy side there. And if I'm thinking value, and I understand the propensity for people to circle jerk around Allen. He's an awfully handsome guy. Toupee looks great. You're rocking the toupee. Way to go, Allen. But I'm not a circle jerky kind of guy. And I'm like a cheap ass by definition.
Cheap ass.
Hey, you had direct evidence of that, right? When we went to like a pizza parlor and we had to pay like 30, $40 for pizza. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, Brian's a cheap ass. So, if I'm a cheap ass, where's my 100? Where did it go?
Right under 6.6.
Oh, yeah, okay, there it is. If I'm a cheap ass, then that means, oh, what a surprise. There's Adam. He's going to be bidding at 78.6 and off the original market structure lows. And ironically enough, I'm long from 8 cents. So, I mean, this is looking at a clothesline. Obviously, the intraday charts went higher. Right? Oh, actually, no, that's about there. I mean, I don't know where the hell the top is here. Maybe it's all the way up here. But notice, reload zone doesn't change a hell of a lot. Right? 61.8 there is 11.5. 78.6 is 9. Notice, if we go all the way up here and we do top out here, notice 78.6 now is 11 cents. Well, ironically enough, that's the same price as what 61.8 is right now. Mm-hmm. So you actually see that the reload zone doesn't really change a hell of a lot, even with some absolutely insane blow off top here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do push this thing higher. I think there are some juicy technical objectives, and ironically enough, that's going to be right into my next sell half on a double level. So if you're long, just make sure you have those sell orders working. I think there's a pretty good case to look for some resistance up here. But I can't, there's no way in hell I could buy that there. It's too risky. And if I did want to buy, I'm going to have to take my fib tool and just keep measuring and keep adjusting and keep redrawing. And as I had said earlier, even if they do take the price all the way up here, this reload zone is not going to change a hell of a lot. And I think on the subsequent retest of the bottom, probably a tag of this trend line along somewhere down the road, that would be my buying window. And as I said earlier, I'm already long from, I think, about 8 cents or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. And really, that's exactly where I would want to rebuy this. So there's that chart.
Beautiful. Thank you for that one.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. And you also got some color commentary there too, eh? Brian, yes, making friends all over the place.
A handful left here. Let's,
okay.
We got about 40 minutes or so. Try to get through like 3 or so more.
Okay.
Here. All right. So let's see. I want to make sure I'm going through a couple different people. Let's do theta.
Theta. Theta.
And then Binance to USDT.
This down here.
Yep.
You still have a lot of confidence in Binance and Tether, right?
Just it's got the data to it gives us the best with charts. But this one's very overbought right now.
Ay, caramba. Yeah, this is pretty easy to answer.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, you should do a fog and bomb off of this big W, and my hunch is 2.618s, 4669s are probably all up
but
in
if you
here.
go to weekly too, it's let's see, still way down, but it's up to like 15. But still, that's stupid overbought right now.
Wow. Yeah. Pretty chart. And I do like when I see charts like this. Because by definition, that's kind of a V top, right? Because that's not really that clean of a market structure top.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that says that at some point down the road, this top will need to be tested. Which, you know, if you're thinking about buying this asset to make capital gains, that's got to be music to your ears. All right, so I think we can see which trend line this thing is working off of right now.
Yeah.
And it appears it's the high. Yeah, look at that, eh? Yeah, so it's, and actually, you know, if you're really interested in this name, you should go and look at what the news was and the fundamental story was this May 2021 and this September 2021. What was happening in the story fundamentally around those events? And that's a good way to sort of connect why this trend line looks the way that it does. What was the fundamental drivers through that? So then we had another downtrend that was established off of this market structure fail. And I hate to say it, but you know, this is sort of when the orgy of selling just got absolutely crazy. You know, and remember that fall, that's when FTX blew up and all that shit, right? And that Luna destroyed itself. Really good example. Don't buy a W and don't buy a trend line break. Buy the W on the other side of the trend line. W never came in, right? And down we go. Broke this trend line. Can I please get a W? Please, please, please. Looks like a W finally came in down here. And where did we rally to? Bang, right into that trend line. So really, I don't think there's anything really earth-shatteringly, shockingly new going on here. Our rule, of course, is can't take a trade at a trend line. If this thing is a bull, then show me a W here. And, you know, hopefully kind of like in relation to kind of like what our conversation about dog money there a moment ago. I think that I can't really start sort of calling a top here and actually thinking about, you know, retracement or trend continuation until I see some sort of consolidation. So this is a good example. First off, you know, let's just ask, did we do a 33% retracement of this range to set up a potential bullish bot? Where is it? There it is there. Let's go. I think I have 33 on here, don't I? Yeah, 33 and 66. So have we got that going? There's 33. There's 66. I think that's right. Yeah. So we did do 33. That's good. And now, if we actually got the W to come in on the other side of this trend line, well, I think we'd be good to go. Right? That could set up a trend continuation. 1 higher low, 2 higher lows, 3 higher lows. If this thing just goes straight up here from here, then what that means to me is I just have to redraw my studies here, right? And just keep dragging them higher, whatever the ultimate high is. Just exactly like that dog money I just said a moment ago, eh? So, can't really do anything right now. It's good to see that at least it's smashing this downtrend line. Now, if this is really a bull, you want to see a W, which should paint 3 higher lows, which should set up a bot setup, and that'll take you higher. But as it stands right now, at this point right here, it's not really anything to do. As for upside objectives, obviously you can clearly see where the double bottom is. So if we think just off of this small little bottom, fog and bombs, 2.618, 4.669. Look how we tag that and just reverse. Here's another example. This is just like that dog money, where we went just blasting right through that 2.618. It's interesting how you can see, right? This is a weekly chart. Notice how that week we went boom right up to 2.618. And can you see, look at the fight that happened right around this 2.618. Oh, yeah. It actually went slightly above the level. Then it came back and finished the week right at the level. Then it opened up the following week. It actually lost the level. Then it came back and recaptured it and then just blasted straight up to the next foggy level. Isn't that cool? So you can literally, if we zoom down to a lower time frame chart, you could probably see a really cool little battle right in here on that level. So, interestingly enough, we could potentially do things like A to B and then clone this. Where's the drawing thing? It's on here somewhere. Oh well. Oh well. Okay, let's see if I. Oh, there it is. All right. It was hiding. Clone, boom. Right. And what's really interesting is we know that this 877 is floating out here. So in a weird sort of way, we could actually maybe even think about, well, if we know that the next foggy level's up there, what would that mean if we know that that's the ultimate upside objective for our consolidation here? Interesting how this low went all the way down to this level though here. So what this also tells me too, and I don't know whether I've talked to you about this before, but ABCDs can sometimes be what they call alt ABCDs. So you can have A to B, that move there. And then, the symmetrical move would just be 100%. Gotta wait for this to load. You can add 1.272, 1.618, and I would say if those added to this symmetrical ABCD.
You moved it off to the side, up towards the top left of the screen.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. We'll go boom, 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 and then we'll go 1.618, 1.272, and we'll reverse this. All right, so we'll take this study and we'll project it off of the low. And there is your A to B, C to D. That is the symmetrical move. And notice, look how 2.618 is up around this 877. So you could very easily have this ABCD go all the way up to that 127, and that's still a valid ABCD harmonic. They call it an alt ABCD. So, what you might find actually is that this isn't the ultimate low. Maybe we have to go a little bit lower. So that does line up with that 877 and that 1.272. And in a weird sort of way, that's kind of telling you that maybe this isn't the ultimate low. Maybe what we have to do is like one more pullback here and then come up. But the bottom line here is you got to wait for those three higher lows and that W on the other side of that trend line. So that's kind of what I'm thinking if this is trend continuation, something along those lines. Hopefully you guys have bought the punch and you understand the power of W's.
Yes, sir.
Could you have justified just coming in and just buying? This almost looks like an inverted head and shoulders in a weird sort of way. There, so like say there, shoulder, neckline, head, neckline, shoulder, breakout. It's kind of sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
Our resident head and shoulders expert, David, who's been studying heads and shoulders for a decade now in earnest, he actually really likes when this neckline is cockeyed like this. And if you're a fan of that ICT guy, he seems to be pretty popular on the net these days. He likes to follow this concept called market structure shift. So think of this as like lower highs and lower lows. But notice this break here breaks these highs. So that changes that market structure from lower highs and lower lows, a bear market, to, hey, maybe we're not a bear market anymore. So that's kind of that neckline. And if it's cockeyed like that or slightly tilted up, then it means that they've broken this previous market structure. Also, too, if this is a valid inverted head and shoulders, we don't really want to see price go below this line right here. And you can see how we didn't. So there was the shoulder there. So if anything, this all validates what we see here. I like this Feigenbaum chaos study. You know, they often say in TA, like if I think you might even be able to do this. We won't get into this today. No, okay, you don't have them here. But if you could do point and figure charting, think of this range as nothing more than that, a trading range. And there used to be people 100 years ago that would just simply plot if price moved outside of a certain distance. So let's say like 10 cents or something like that, they would actually mark up their charts. If the price just stayed in a range, they wouldn't do anything at all. So the more that price oscillates around here, the more X's and O's would be on their chart. And the longer, this is called a horizontal count, horizontal, right? Think that way. The longer this thing stays in a range here and just keeps oscillating back and forth, the more and more those X's and O's build up. And if you have you ever heard me use the expression, let's see if you can finish this, or anybody on YouTube can finish this. The longer the something, the bigger the something.
The longer the channel, the bigger the run.
Hey, there you go. All right, you're a rock star. So I think you can make the argument that that's a pretty big trading range there. Or, right, another way of looking at that is that's a pretty darn big channel. You know, something like down in there. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this is the expression of that. And in our level 2 program, we teach point and figure charting. That is that charting technique. And you should be able to actually count up all of the consolidation in here. And then when we resolve this range, that is that expression of that energy, all this built up energy down in here, the pop. Now you can make the argument that the Feigenbaum study, that bifurcation, is exactly the same concept, just expressed mathematically. So super cool.
Beautiful.
I know, did I just talk your ear off there? Sorry.
No, I totally understand, but I don't know, you just kind of like broke my brain there.
Okay. So anyway, you know, people 100 years ago, they used to use this methodology called point and figure charting to try and keep track of tons and tons of assets without computers. So that was the preferred methodology. And actually, a big part of my education program is actually a history lesson of the markets, because I kind of fancy myself a historian. So
beautiful.
Okay, so trend continuation. You can kind of see the levels that are being painted. There's no reason to justify acting right now. And then value, if you wanted to join Adam down off of the most recent W, what do you think the odds are? They will line up with reload zones. I'd say probably pretty good. So let's see if I can just throw on the reload zone on here, and then we can move on to the next one. So boom, boom. Then flip that around. All right, we don't need the background. And if if I'm a value investor, what a surprise. You can literally see the original market structure. And there's Brian sitting at his 78.6, just picking his nose, waiting for price to work its way back down to value. So if you held a gun to my head, what price do I really want to pay for this thing? I want to pay $1.26. Make sense?
Yes, sir. I'm taking notes.
Well, I'll even do you one better, and I will share the chart with you in our Discord. So I am sharing all these charts here with Joe.
Yeah, it'll be posted on Coinigy's Twitter.
Sweet. We'll let this thing do its thing.
Shot straight up in the air.
What?
This coin shot straight up in the air there. 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, if anything, really good analogy of what happens. And, this is also a good example. I'm just waiting for this thing to give me a link. This is also a really good example of a cup and handle. Right? And what also would be interesting is if we look at this on a log scale, whether actually this up move is not really that big relative to the percentage move that you saw here. But we are running out of time. We got to get on probably to the next coin, right?
Yeah, no worries. We can get this one.
Oh, come on. Wonder if maybe there's a way to turn off these notifications here. I wonder if that's slowing things down.
Yeah, there is. I can run you through it after.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for the link here. All right. I suppose we can always come back to that.
Next one
Okay.
was 8.
Okay. APE
/USD on Coinbase.
On Coinbase. So that's CBSE.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got. Show us what you got. Well, at least this one's in a buying zone. And actually, I noticed this. This is an interesting sort of development this cycle. A lot of the names on Coinbase, they're rallying much later than the rest of the market. And, some of our Americans that are trapped, only trading off of the exchange, their communist dictators will only allow them to. I mean, God, I gotta say, the U.S. capitalist system, the more that I live, the more that I see how incredibly corrupt it is. It's so sad how brutally, and I think it's just a function of capitalism and human greed. It's stunning how evil these humans are. I can't wait till I can be with my maker and we can look down at this and go, God, those humans, wow. So you survived the experience. You want to write a book about it? I tell you, man. These humans are just fucking evil. Anyway, that's another conversation for another day. Like the people that are on Coinbase, it's kind of fun. Adam, for example, in Sacramento, he's on Coinbase. You're probably on Coinbase, right? So
a couple different ones I had to switch out to.
I'm finding
a couple other exchanges that slowly but surely over the past couple of years got.
Yeah, well, like KuCoin just got blown up, right? So,
yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so 38.2 to 50%, that's usually a good sort of first stop target, right? So, actually, that should be this one here. Sorry. Let's put that on here, 38.2. So, if there was a resistance point in here, I think that makes sense. Remember that last name, how it banged up against its trend line and then sort of was waffling? Right, this thing here, theta. Isn't that still waiting for that link to come up? Did it come up? Why is this so slow? There it goes. Now it's thinking. Anyway, so you can see how that trend line play right there. I could very easily see exactly the same thing happening here. I think it's these notifications that are slowing me down. So I guess what I wanted to do was a fog and bomb off of this. If we go boom, boom, boom. All right, 2.618. That's coming up against this trend line as well. Interesting how 4.669 is the 50% level. Also, too, I suppose you could make the argument that this is a pretty big market structure level. I don't know whether I want to use the clothesline. Interesting, if I use the clothesline, look how that lines up so nicely with 2.618 there. There is this, but my hunch is that that's just an anomaly. Probably into this level, especially the clothesline level. Mind you, it is interesting. Look how that high right there also lines up with that low. So, oh, look at that. And the other day, look how it was rejected off of that level. Wow, that's interesting. So, haha, well, Brian was just schooled there. So, I suppose you could argue, kind of, you remember how I did that 50% kind of, if we go there to there and then go boom, 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 and then 50%. Yeah. So we're kind of just sitting right at the mean right now. It's not really overvalued. Huh?
Where you're at the half, it's glass is half full, glass is half empty.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether that's the best analogy to use for this idea, but what I would just simply say is if we think about range, I want to try and buy near the bottom end of the trading range. And right now, we're kind of just at the midpoint of the trading range. It's not really overvalued. It's not really undervalued. It's just meh, just sort of sitting there. And actually, WD Gann, he would even say at any given point in time, you should always be drawing like 50% rolls over a calendar year. So here we are, April. So I would actually probably even want to draw this back to the previous April, which ironically enough, a year ago is there. So on a calendar year basis, 50% rule is actually, I guess, there, right? So, oh, interesting. Look how we tried to get up to that level and we failed. So what this says to me on like, think Gann and a calendar year, we're still in the bear sort of phase here. This is not in a bull market. It's still sitting in its 52-week range. It's sitting in its lower half of its trading range over that period. Anyway, what I would just simply say is if I was using technical objectives as profit-taking objectives, I would use the 50% level as and that 52-week range idea. That's WD Gann 101. You measure whatever the past year is, and the year itself is one cycle, and markets love to retrace 50% of that 1 year cycle. And usually what they actually do that 50% retracement in about half of that period. So, I mean, I don't know how we would measure that half, but I suppose high to low. You can see we came pretty darn close to 50% levels here. Probably on that event, like when we were here, that's March. And yeah, interesting. So there's actually the high for March right there. That is 1 year exactly. So in a weird sort of way, actually, this tells us the technical health of this market. It's still, quote unquote, undervalued. And if anything, this is a really good example of Colin and his dump chaser concept, where we should at any given point in time expect 38.2s. Can you see how it did that?
Yeah.
So that should happen at any given point in time. And sometimes, I mean, you hate to say it, I don't know whether this is a bull, but sometimes we rally up into 38.2 and it's the first stop and it's the only stop. And then we head right back down and we make new lows. Boo, hiss, hiss, boo. Could happen. So I would say that the dead cat bounce has played itself out. I'd also say too, if you're playing W's, I think you got a pretty good looking W that came in right here. So had you bought that level there, which is 153, the high. Actually, let's do the high up here. 150, yeah, 153.6, beg your pardon. So what's double 153? That's like $3.06.
Yeah.
So we haven't even gotten to that double level. Notice 2.618 sitting 298. 50% level sitting 292. And there's that trend line sitting right there. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to push this thing up into those levels. That wouldn't surprise me. Suppose you could make the argument there's also a cute little W that came in down here for like the real gunslingers. This one's a harder one to take because it is quite literally like catching a falling knife. Why wasn't this the W? Well, that failed. Well, so why is it you're so awesome you only picked this one? Yeah, I think this is probably an easier trade. Let the market bottom, break this previous bearish structure, come back down, test a low. Hell, if you wanted to, we could probably even do like a reload zone off of this range, which is, what do you think the odds are that this was 78.6? Adam sitting there, all that fun talk. Look at that, eh?
Yep, right there.
So there's your sharpshooter entry. That's a $1.33. And notice what was the high here? 269. So a $1.33, a $1.17. So the sharpshooters, they did get their double off.
Yeah.
That's a difficult trade. I wouldn't expect any noob at TRI to be so comfortable to pull that off. But I definitely think that was the buy level right in there. And sadly, this was the shod level of that trade. Anyway, it is what it is. Had you just bought this W here, you're still waiting for that. And keep in mind that 50% retracement, especially with the Foggenbaum level up there, I still like this level to be tagged. It just, now, given where this bottomed here, it makes sense why this level saw some sellers. Does that make sense?
It does.
And now I suppose, you could probably do A, B, C, Ds going both directions. No idea where this thing's going to go. We could, if the bears dominate, right, we could probably ask, are there bearish momentum divergences here? MACD doesn't really have a dip. Oh, yeah, actually it did, because this high here was on a lower high. You see that? So not good. RSI dived out, not good. Willie, interesting how Willie never did get stupid. That's surprising. Got pretty close, 21 there. But definitely divergent. Lots of M's. I don't think you can be bullish. You can see the bulls, they kind of ran out of steam here with the buyers, and everybody's just backed away here. So as long as this picture persists, there's no real W's, market's not oversold, there's no bullish divergence. As long as that picture still persists, then I would think that this bearish ABCD has to play itself out. And it might even be that the push to new lows here causes the bullish divergence to start forming here. And what this means, unfortunately, is it looks like we're going to have to come right back down to that original bottom. So, boo, hiss, hiss, boo. Nobody wants to hear that. But, I'm not really here to make a prediction. I'm just sort of like, if the bears take over, and of course, what did we say is this 3-bar pattern? Have you ever seen that pattern before? Boom, boom, boom.
Empire.
So we saw that earlier tonight, right? So do you see how there's a bit of a theme building here in this space? We are seeing more and more names, and interesting too how that broke the trend line. And then if you drill down to like lower time frame charts, any kind of M on the other side of this trend line is a sell signal. So I would prefer, if you're operating off of this time frame, to actually get a nice little M up here to actually outright say that's a fail, and that becomes what they call an Adam and then an Eve top. That's what I'd like to see. That would be the ideal short setup. As it stands right now, I would say at the very least, I would be expecting these lows to be tested. And if we're lucky, right, and you're a bull, right, and you're thinking up, ideally, it does look like we've done at least 33, but no more than 66, just even off of this range. We got down 61, pretty close to 66. But maybe if we're lucky, and really, you're just going to have to follow this if you're in this coin or if you're interested in participating. We did 33. You don't really want to see it lose this 66 level. I know that's kind of hard to see. Let's maybe make that yellow. All right, so we don't really want to see these lows lost. So if we could, one low, we do have a second low here, so that's interesting. But if we could come down here, put in a third low, maybe even give us a fourth low, just give us a nice working W, well, then maybe you can think about this thing completing the bullish ABCD that takes us up into 50% rolls. But I think what has to happen here is I think a name like this now, it's got to go through this seasonal troughing window. Have I ever talked to you about anything that kind of is special about May 11th?
Your birthday.
What does that imply?
That the markets don't like your birthday.
Which sucks. But 9 times out of 10, the market usually tanks right on my birthday. Now, consider it a gift, right? Maybe the thing dips right back down here into my birthday. It happens way over here. And you're like, oh, thank you for the birthday present, Brian. I don't know. But considering that we got the halvening event coming up here, I think this is a kind of name where I think I'd be inclined to just let it breathe a little bit in here. Show us some W's, show us some bullish divergence, show us the buyers coming back at all. And then we can start thinking bull again. For the time being, though, I think you just gotta let this thing just simmer and consolidate a bit.
Beautiful. Well, hopefully that maybe we'll get on your birthday. We'll get our price alerts that I've set to pop off, and maybe we can get a fill in there.
Yeah, and that, of course, is entirely predicated on what is the fundamental story of this thing.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea is this just one of these meme coin kind of things? Do they actually have a project? Is there something that you're actually interested in? They're building a better mousetrap. They're going to solve the problems of the world, blah, blah, blah.
Let's see what ApeCoin's about.
Interesting, too, while you're looking that up, notice if I did want to be a buyer, notice how all it is just 78.6 right back against the 61.8 of the previous fib and right into that double bottom zone there.
So it is a ERC20 governance and utility token used within the Ape ecosystem to empower and incentivize a decentralized community building at the forefront of Web3.
I guess maybe, yeah, is that all, what did I say that Fink is all getting excited about and Sjord went all crazy about crazy is not the right word. Real world assets. I think that's what it was.
LTO.
I wonder if this thing also is because what I just heard there was just a whole bunch of gobbledygook.
Yeah, a bunch of filler words.
Yeah. You know what? Did I copy that other chart? Let's see what I have in here. Let's see what this is. Survey says theta. Yeah, okay. So there's that theta one. Although, geez, look at that. Even Discord doesn't even like that. Okay. And then I'll give you this one. And just really simply put, this, I mean, keep this as simple as possible. I would be very interested in this thing at $1.35.
Beautiful. Sounds good. Well, we were right around on that 2 hour mark, so I think.
Geez, that went quick, eh?
Here. Make sure, if we could, please have anyone watching, if you could like the video and give us a comment, it's greatly appreciated. As I told you before, does help us a lot when getting in front of the right people. So we do appreciate everyone who's tuned in once again, and thank you, Brian, for all that you do for the crypto trading community.
Hopefully I'm helpful. I don't know. I mean,
you're making a positive difference in the world.
There you go. I mean, geez, this study alone right here is worth the price.
Of 420. I just went away.
What was that?
The price of Bitcoin was just at 69,420.
Oh, is it?
Crypto Twitter went crazy when they hit that for the first time.
All right.
It was trending.
Anyway, as soon as this loads up, I'll share this in the room. And, well, how many did we do tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we got 6 solid charts there for you this evening.
And Bitcoin, so 7.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, maybe you can give us our feedback. Is there a better way that we can do these shows? I don't know. Always open to suggestions. Yes. So, but thank you very much, Joe. You are a consummate professional. Thank you for putting up with all my rhetoric.
Oh, thank you for your rhetoric.
We should probably give a shill for the site. Yes, if you do want to learn, we've been teaching this program of how to build professional traders for the past 10 years now. Can't believe we've been doing this 10 years. Have quite a positive feedback from both students and, you know, I think people that watch the Coinigy platform. I think your bosses even say that the content we do is fairly good. Anyway,
yes, sir.
So if you want to learn how to do all this stuff hands-on in a one-on-one kind of setting, well, I guess at least live. We have a live instructor every week for you to work with in class and TAs and stuff. And then, of course, Brian's on the site. I think we have a pretty robust community, a lot of longtime site members. I was really proud of the team. We just added our first female instructor to the team. So way to go, Meg. Super proud of the work that she's done with her husband. And, you know, good Canadians too. So can't, gotta mention that. So anyway, our next school term starts in about a month or so. So if you have been watching along and you're kind of like, well, you know, I wouldn't mind actually being coached on how you actually build and run a small business of trading with the expectation of being profitable. I haven't seen anybody else on the internet teach a program like this that's even close to what we do. So there's your shameless plug. I suppose if you do send people over to us, Joe, I think we have a referral code, so maybe we can even maybe even incentivize you to help us out with enrollment.
I'm happy to the shameless plug. No referral needed. We'll just push what we can to you guys.
All right, cool.
Your payment is the payment is your time, so we appreciate you, Brian, and we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks.
All right.
Take care, everyone. Thank you, Brian. Signing off.
Bye for now.